been a long time since I've been talking about this series, but or talking about these shows. But a while back, my girlfriend has Netflix. I don't. So, but now we share the same network account, so it makes when you're watching things a lot easier. I just finished out Daredevil season 3. Now moved on to Punisher season 2. But I started reviewing the Marvel Netflix shows a while back. I've seen few people watching because they had been out for so long at that point. But still, I was doing it because I wanted to talk about it. And I stopped after Iron Fist. I just never continued doing that for a long time. But we're here. It's my goal now to finish it up, seeing as I'm finishing up the Netflix Marvel shows. And we're on Defenders. This essentially was the Avengers of the Netflix TV shows. This was their team up series, their team up show. Oh, the best of the best. Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones. Okay, maybe not the best of the best, but the best New York had to offer that was actually in their universe at the time, because Frank is gone doing his own things at that point. I haven't rewatched it. I probably will go back and rewatch it at some point, because I actually liked a lot of the early stuff as well for these season series. But obviously, I watched it. And what did I think about it? Here's how I rank everything, and everything so far in the Netflix series universe. Again, sans Punisher season 2, because I've only just started it, and Jessica Jones season 3 because I haven't gotten to it yet. Did Daredevil season 1 through 3 the best thing Netflix did with the Marvel characters? Next after it would actually be Punisher season 1. I will get to Punisher after obviously this. That's when you get into the stuff that was, I still could enjoy it, but that's where I started to see the problems. Defenders probably falls right after that. I really liked the Defenders series. I really did. It was short though, and I think it's because they had a certain story they were telling. It just didn't pan out to the full 13 episodes. I have some water here, so give me 1 second. Didn't pan out for the full 13 episodes, so they just didn't go that far with it. But I still enjoyed it for what it was. I think for what they had to do with the Defenders, they did a very good job with it. They made it very understandable how these characters would have been brought together. Makes sense. Matt Murdock would have been just Jessica Jones' attorney at that point. That would have made complete sense. Iron Fist and Luke Cage meeting at the same time. That would have made sense. And then ultimately comes together in the Chinese restaurant. The action is still fantastic, especially with Daredevil's choreography, and because you obviously had someone off from the Daredevil TV series team choreographing those fights. Iron Fist's fights were also much better choreographed. It was cool to see them working together, their powers interacting with each other, their abilities interacting. It was definitely cool to see that. Elektra being the villain made for some interesting fight. It was cool, great to see Stick again. The story, the fact that they were trying to basically get the bones of a dragon that was buried under New York was interesting. We see the Hand at work, and we see Gao again. It's always great to see Gao. If though, I'll still go back into other things as well. Like some of the highlights off the top of my head, watching Iron Fist actually clock Luke Cage. Like, I got clocked. It's like some guy with a glowing fist just. And Iron Fist just trying to hit him, and it didn't work at all. Then he hits him with the Iron Fist, and he actually just that was great. Actually seeing I like what they do with most of the characters. Like Luke Cage and Iron Fist, both I think get the best screen time, like the most screen time actually of all the group. Matt, I think it's the best fight moments and personal moments, obviously because it's a connection to Elektra. And that kind of gets into the negatives of the series, though, because Jessica is the one who feels completely out of place on that team. She's the one who legitimately doesn't want to be there. Like when Stick says, "Shut up and sit down," she just walks right out. I've got to be honest. I don't mind Jessica Jones' series. Either season, I like season 1. I think the best so far, and season 2 was decent. Season 2 had a bit more problems though. And one of the problems I've always had is the fact that Jessica is just not that likable a character. Not to say she's an evil person or anything like that. Like, she's ultimately doing the right thing. But that doesn't make her a likable character. we know she's a good person ultimately. She's done bad things, sure, but she knows she's done bad things. She knows she's got to live with them. The problem for me is that when push comes to shove, she'd rather stay on the sideline, and that's fine. But they address it more in season 2 for Jessica Jones. But yeah, she didn't want those powers. The powers were forced onto her, and she tried the superhero gig and it didn't work out. But at the same time, it's kind of like great power comes great responsibility. You have the power to do something about what's going on in the circumstance. You're just choosing to run away because you don't want to get involved. But you're a coward. And don't get me wrong. When we get to this being said to her in season 2, coming from Trish of all people, and that's just spoiler season 2 of Jessica Jones, obviously, but it's not the same thing because of where Trish is coming from. But in the case of like the city being threatened and she's actually got the ability to maybe stop it, Jessica is. I don't even want to say she's being a coward. Actually, it's not the right term. Jessica is. There we go. How did Android 16? Weird comparison. But how did Android 16 put it in Dragon Ball Z Abridged when talking to Gohan about Cell? You say not exactly about pacifism. It's like you're while you stand by your morals or anything, you'll an amount of blood or something like that. Basically, you're no better than the bad guys if you don't try to stop them because you are capable of, or at least you're capable of making the attempt, unlike a lot of other people. So Jessica just seems very out of place with that group. The other 3, they go out, they fight crime a lot. Jessica just kind of ends up getting wrapped up into all this stuff most of the time, and it just doesn't work. Jessica is the odd woman out. Add on to the fact that the villains, be it the Hand, Elektra, all the members of Hand, and Sigourney Weaver. I love Sigourney Weaver, and she is intimidating on some level. It's like Sigourney Weaver still got it as an actress, but you bring her in only for her to be killed about halfway through the season, and it just felt like, what have you done? Why? What was the point? You brought her in. Was it to illustrate like her Elektra taking over? I don't understand where this is coming from. Like, why did you bother getting her in if you're just going to kill her? And then we see, like, all of the Hand, in theory, have abilities. Like, Gao, for some reason, has some sort of weird telekinetic force push ability. One guy uses pressure points, but he loses to Luke Cage because he just can't hit Luke Cage's pressure points. And then there was another one who I think was good with a blade, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, that's right. It was Colleen's mentor, whose name I can't remember off the top of my head, who ends up taking off. Was that where Misty lost her arm? No, I actually can't remember. I know Misty got just her arm impaled and stuff like that, but she didn't lose her arm yet at that point. And I think that was supposed to hint later on to that, but I can't remember if she lost her arm in that season or was it in. No, you know what? I think it was in Iron Fist season 2. Now that I think about it, that I think is where she lost her arm, because I remember she already had the fake the new arm in Luke Cage season 2. I know that. So somewhere between Defenders and Luke Cage season 2 is when she lost the arm officially. I think another problem is they kind of just didn't know what to do with the long-standing side characters that we've all come to like from each series. Trish, Foggy, Karen, Colleen. Colleen shows up a little bit to fight her mentor. That's about it. Misty. There's just not a lot there. Stick, I understood, because Stick's kind of the one bringing us all to their attention. But all of them is just it's not like any of them are bad is the problem. It's that they had nothing really to do except be damsels in distress, basically, or damsels, or whatever the male equivalent of a damsel would be. I guess damsel still. So yeah, that's another problem I have, is that you didn't really know what to do with these guys. But to be fair, this particular series wasn't about the side characters. Side characters get their own stories in their own respective series. Daredevil, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, all that. So really, I can kind of forgive it in Defenders, because Defenders is about the Defenders. The side characters really are the definition of side characters in those series. Other than that, I mean, nothing else was really a problem for me. One of the big selling points of this entire series, though, is similar to what you see with the original Avengers movie, and any of the Avengers movies, but particularly that first one was like, okay, we had the build up to it. Now we get to see how these characters play off each other. It's great to see particularly Matt play off of Danny Rand. I actually don't mind his interactions with Jessica. Him and Jessica have some good interactions, but I will completely say this. The fact that she was able to figure out immediately that he was the devil of Hell's Kitchen, I wasn't a fan of how she just pinpointed that out. I'm like, yeah, she's actually supposed to be pretty good at it, but to be fair, Matt could have just played out the blind act, and she wouldn't have found out. That's a little on Matt's fault, but at the same time, I don't know. I didn't really like the fact that you could just do it like that. It's like, yeah, I can't really get behind that easy. I don't care if they all figured it out, like if he told them or not, but yeah, that part kind of bugged me. And again, I think it stems from the fact that they just didn't really know what to do with Jessica. Like, Jessica really is just kind of there. Oh, and she has powers too, so she can push people. But at the same time, Jessica is she's the least powered among them, because she's not even as strong as Luke. She can jump high, but she can't really fly. And she can heal a bit faster than a normal person. But she can still get her ass kicked by Trish, of all people. At least she technically did in the first season. But she can still get her ass kicked by anyone who knows martial arts, really. And she makes a comment like, does everyone in New York just know martial arts? Which was a funny joke, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, kind of. Like Luke doesn't, but Luke was a cop, so he's a freaking, he knows how to fight. He was a cage fighter in prison, so yeah, he knows how to fight fine. Obviously, Danny and Matt know martial arts, so they're going to be perfectly fine handling herself. Jessica really stands out as someone who doesn't really belong on this team. But yeah, I mean, I didn't have too many complaints about the series. Overall, I really enjoyed what they did with the Defenders and how it led to, the consequences of the Defenders leading into the further seasons past that point. Daredevil Season 3, Iron Fist Season 2, Luke Cage Season 2, I'll admit, is the one that really didn't do much past Defender. Like, nothing about Defenders really moved on into Luke Cage Season 2. So yeah, there was nothing. Defenders didn't really have that much bearing on Luke Cage Season 2. I haven't watched Jessica Jones Season 3 yet, so I can't really say to that. But yeah, ultimately, for the series for the series that did in fact address some of the stuff that happened after Defenders. Yeah, I liked how it moved the plot forward for them down the road, and helped improve Iron Fist Season 2. There's that as well. I digress, though. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. That's my thoughts on Defenders. So, I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll be back with one more review of a movie me and Mark watched last night. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.